Great Ormond Street Hospital Children's Charity fund vital research that's led to kinder treatments and cures. Will you leave a gift in your will so we can help the children at Great Ormond Street Hospital who will still urgently need us tomorrow? Our researchers work tirelessly to find life-changing treatments and cures, but so many children are waiting for that next breakthrough.
When can I go home?
A gift in your will could help fund future research.
I want to be able to play with my friends again.
Find out more by requesting your free will guide today. Call 0800 472 5779 or search Gosh Will online. A gift in your will could help give seriously ill children a chance of a brighter future.
Hello and welcome. You're watching India Global. I'm Gaurie Dwivedi. Let's first take a look at the big stories and the headlines. We come back and talk about some of the other big stories trapping today. First up, India-Canada tensions peak over Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar's killing. Probe, New Delhi summons Canadian envoy, hits out at Ottawa over probe report that suggests Indian envoy as a person of interest, accuses Justin Trudeau of playing vote bank politics, lists multiple instances of Canadian Prime Minister's hostility towards India. Clouds of an all-out war continue to hover over Middle East. Early Monday, Israeli airstrike on central Gaza hospital killed at least 4 people. Flames from strike sweep through packed camps for the displaced. More than 24 reportedly left with severe burns. International leaders and dignitaries begin arriving in Pakistan's Islamabad ahead of the crucial 23rd meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Capital placed under heavy lockdown. Over 10,000 police and paramilitary forces deployed on the streets of Islamabad amidst rising militant attacks and former Prime Minister Imran Khan-led PTI protests. President Draupadi Murmu's historic 3-nation visit to Algeria, Mauritania and Malawi underway. President highlights deep-rooted and growing political ties between India and Algeria on visit's first leg, to arrive in the next leg on 16th of October, followed by Malawi, which is on the 17th. Becomes first ever Indian head of state to visit these nations. Big shot in the arm for India-Australia ties. Canberra launches new working holiday maker visa for young Indians. Move to allow up to 1,000 young Indians aged 18 to 30 to come to Australia to either work or to study and to experience Australian culture for nearly 12 months. Nearly 40,000 contenders submit applications in 2 weeks. All right, our first big debate on India global, fresh escalation coming in the India-Canada ties. New Delhi has now summoned the Canadian envoy. Earlier in the day, India issued a sharp rebuttal to Canada, rejecting the allegations of its High Commissioner being a person of interest in a murder investigation, describing them as preposterous. The Ministry of External Affairs revealed that Canada has named the Indian High Commissioner Sanjay Kumar Verma as a person of interest in its investigation into Nijjar's death. Hitting back, India accused Canada of maligning its officials without any evidence, using preposterous claims to justify its failure to curb Khalistani extremism on its soil. The latest exchange comes after a brief encounter that took place between Prime Minister Modi and Justin Trudeau on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit. My colleague Aishwarya joins me for the very latest to tell as far as what's happening right now. Aishwarya, you are standing at South Block. The Canadian envoy has been summoned in the wake of escalating tensions between India and Canada.
Well, certainly what we are learning is that in a short while from now, it would be the charge.
Yes, go ahead, Aishwarya.
Well, there's a protocol, and I'll just speak in another 2 minutes. As far as the South Block is concerned, it would be the charge d'affaires of the Canadian who would be coming at the South Block, because he has been summoned after those claims that had been made by the Justin Trudeau government. We've been told that in a short while from now he'll be arriving over here, and tough questions being asked by the Indian government.
Right, Ishwara, very quickly in terms of the escalating tensions, any word coming in from what the South Block officials are telling you?
Well, we are still waiting for the
Okay, I believe there's a technical issue as far as Eshwar is concerned. We try and patch that line, but what he's telling, he's on ground telling us that the Canadian envoy has been summoned. Remember, tensions have escalated between India and Canada very sharply. India has repeatedly highlighted its concerns over the pro-Khalistan movement in Canada, demanding that Canada take firm and verifiable action against those advocating violence and extremism. Now let's also get in Bhaswati Mukherjee. Ambassador Mukherjee joins me on the broadcast, and we also have Dr. Zakir Hussain, who's been with the ICWA in the past. Ambassador Mukherjee, to you first, ma'am. What we are seeing are some very sharp responses that are coming in and a major nosedive in terms of the India-Canada relations. How do you read this situation, ma'am?
It's an unprecedented situation, because in my 39 years in the Indian Foreign Service, I have never heard of any Indian ambassador or high commissioner being named as a person of interest, to quote the Canadian, in a murder case. Moreover, being named without any evidence, just by hearsay, and forgetting that our High Commissioner in Canada is entitled to full protection under the Geneva Convention, and that he represents the state and government and President of India and Canada, to bring such unfounded accusations against an officer of the highest integrity, whom I know personally, is completely unprecedented. And it's a pity that the Canadian High Commissioner is not here and only the charge d'affaires is coming. There's a big difference between a charge d'affaires, who's usually a middle level officer, and the Canadian High Commissioner, who may have deliberately gone out of Delhi to avoid being summoned. I wouldn't put that beyond him. But the point here is that whatever message we deliver to this middle level officer, the charge d'affaires, is not going to be enough. We will have to take measures.
I was coming to just that, Ambassador Mukherjee, I was coming to just that. That is absolutely unprecedented that an ambassador actually gets named as a person of interest, especially after 12 months of New Delhi asking repeatedly that give us proof, give us proof. There is no proof, and there is no clear line in terms of where the investigation is headed. Despite that, what do you think should be New Delhi's next set of messaging, given how unprecedented the situation is?
In my perspective, if it's addressed to me, we should definitely convey a strong message that Canada should not allow its domestic politics, because now Trudeau is a minority government. He's trying to assuage this fringe margin of Khalistanis who are propping him up. He should not allow the India-Canadian relationship to become victim to internal domestic politics of Canada. If he continues to do so, we would have to take measures which would also include further downgrading of the Canadian High Commission and its consulates here in India.
Yes.
And we would have to take necessary measures, in fact, to ensure that the benefits that the Canadians get out of this relationship, out of the fact that they can roam freely around our vast country and allow their government to make such accusations, because we sent the brightest and the best always as our High Commissioner to Canada.
Absolutely.
Right from independence. And if this is the way High Commissioner Sanjay Verma, who is an outstanding officer of full integrity, is being treated, then it is better that we bring him back and we downgrade our relations like we've done with Pakistan at the level of charge d'affaires. That's what I...
Dr. Hussain, do you agree with what Ambassador Mukherjee is saying, that at the end of the day, you have Justin Trudeau's domestic calculations casting a huge shadow over bilateral relations, such an important relationship being hijacked because Justin Trudeau needs to win an election, he needs to stay in government, he also needs to figure out whether his budget will actually pass in February or not. Ahead of that, he's forsaking an entire sovereign relationship.
Yes, I fully agree with Ambassador. And India should widely propagate and create an awareness message in Canada that Trudeau government is trying to hijack the agenda and get some political mileage out of this. Because why he is taking off and on this issue? Side by side, India should also take a very stern step. And whatever measures we should take, it should be very effective in a way. And we know that our relation with Canada is very deep, and in terms of trade, in terms of students exchanges program and all these things. So we should not give any single party to downgrade our relations. I fully agree with Ambassador's statement.
Ambassador Mukherjee, then as far as the relationship is concerned, it's really nosedived with these false allegations and wild accusations. But let me ask you the aspect in terms of this bilateral relationship on a people-to-people level, on a trade level, on an education level. All that is the other aspect of this relationship. One is how New Delhi responds diplomatically, the way it should. And second is the aspect about the people-to-people connect that are very deep with Canada.
That is precisely what I'm saying. That I remember clearly when our relationship was excellent. We were the two largest countries in the Commonwealth. We had huge bilateral cooperation. We have a very vibrant diaspora, 90% of whom do not at all agree with this fringe element. We have so many friends and relatives settled in Canada and who have informed many of us, including, for instance, my own sister lives in Vancouver, that they don't at all support such activities which are going on or such accusations. And they know that it's going to lead to a downgrading. Already, it is very difficult for Canadians to get quickly the e-visa to visit their friends.
Absolutely. Ma'am, I'm running out of time, but there's one question I feel that I must ask, which is around the Vienna Convention. The fact that there are death threats that are being issued to the Indian diplomatic community, the fact that there are such wild accusations being made against our ambassador, what about the Vienna Convention ratified by all nations?
You're absolutely right. The Vienna Convention is being violated. We are very unsure whether our diplomats are safe and secure. And under such circumstances, can you imagine that if we downgrade, would any outstanding officer from the Indian Foreign Service volunteer to go to Canada? I doubt it. Earlier, it used to be a prized posting. Now I'm informed that it is more unpopular among our foreign service cadres than going to Islamabad. Islamabad is more popular than going to Canada as a posting.
That speaks volumes.
How the ties have fallen.
And also how dangerous it may be for an Indian diplomat in Canada. I'm completely out of time, but Ambassador Mukherjee, Dr. Hussain, thank you so much for speaking to me on India Global. This is a story that we're going to keep coming back to simply because what Canada has done, this isn't the last of it. We're going to hear a lot more, and India Global will keep debating that. Right now, it's time for a very short break. We come back and talk more about the India-Pakistan relationship. With no thaw expected, what is likely at the SCO? We come back and talk more.
It's been a difficult year for our family. We're finally going through my Tom's things. I want to make him proud, and that starts by making sure our son is protected.
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote.
No problem. We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK.
That's great.
UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000. Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
That money could help with debts or my funeral costs. I'll do it.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free quote today, call our UK team on 0800 158 552 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
We know that living with diabetes can make daily life a challenge, and we're here to help.
I felt very low with the diagnosis and very lonely as well and embarrassed.
I think people don't necessarily realise the impact that being diabetic can have on you and the amount of extra decisions you have to make a day through carb counting every single thing you eat.
If you're struggling with the everyday challenges diabetes can bring, become a Diabetes UK member today. Receive this informative welcome pack and Balance magazine.
Balance magazine has been very good in giving me tips to manage my diabetes on a day-to-day basis.
One of the things I was recommended to do was exercise. What motivated me was my love of dance, and I got that back.
Join a community that really understands. Call 0800 035 7605 or go online to become a member for just £3 a month.
As a dad, I know life's unpredictable. It's all fun and games until it's not.
You okay?
I want my kids to always be looked after. That's why I'm not putting things off anymore and protecting the life we've built by calling Smart Insurance.
Hi, how can I help?
Hi, I'd like a quick quote, please.
Okay. You can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000 depending on your age.
Brilliant.
If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought. And could help my wife pay off the mortgage.
With our Smart Family Guarantee and 99% of claims having been paid, you'll have peace of mind.
That's good to know.
You'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness and 10% cashback on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you get your choice of a free £125 gift card.
Protect the life you've built the smart way. To get a free quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0800 977 6797 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
Welcome back. You're watching India Global. Our second big discussion, Pakistan. Amidst the elaborate security measures, Pakistan's Islamabad is gearing up to host the 23rd edition of the two-day SCO summit that starts tomorrow. Foreign delegations have started arriving, and this year's event is being held under the shadow of increased terror attacks that have taken place across Pakistan, coupled with the continued protests by jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan's party PTI. To prevent any untoward incidents from happening, over 10,000 people have in fact been deployed in Islamabad. The capital has essentially now been completely locked down. Pakistan is expected to use the summit as a means to reassure China as well, which has stopped investing further given the repeated terror attacks that have taken place. More importantly, its nationals have become prime targets in the attacks that have taken place. It has happened in parts of Balochistan and several other areas as well. Remains to be seen that what really or what all can Pakistan achieve out of the SCO summit. But most importantly, as Dr. Jaishankar heads to Pakistan, the first in almost nearly a decade for an Indian leader, what all can India expect? The backdrop of this conversation is the internal turmoil that Pakistan is seeing. The backdrop of this meeting is the continued terror attacks that are being sponsored, funded by Pakistan. And lastly, the backdrop of this is the fact that India prioritizes SCO over the SAARC summit and the SAARC grouping, which Pakistan has been vociferously talking about. Let's get in Tara Karta and Meher Tarar to talk more about this. We've got an all-women panel to talk about India-Pakistan relationship at a time when they are in cold storage, in the deep freeze rather, Meher. And standing here in New Delhi, I do not see that changing at all. I think that there is going to be no thaw, more so since both sides said that they're not interested in any bilateral dialogue whatsoever. You tell us, how do you view what's happening and what is likely to happen at the SCO?
Me or?
Yeah, Meher, yes.
Hi, thank you for having me on the panel. I think the very fact that your foreign minister, Minister of External Affairs, is coming to Islamabad to attend the meeting is a positive sign. Yes, it is for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and not for something that is happening exclusively in Pakistan. But the most important thing is that I see it as a breakthrough. The last visit was by the late
Sushma Swaraj.
Sushma Swaraj Saiba in 2015, December 15. She was there for the Heart of Asia Conference for Afghanistan. And incidentally, I remember seeing this photograph of Nawaz Sharif and Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif at that time and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And there was this heading, this was reported by BBC that Narendra Modi said that he would be visiting Islamabad the next year. That was 2016. Unfortunately, that never happened. So this is the fact that this is the second-tier meeting in which your foreign minister will be in attendance to present his India's agenda for SCO. But the fact that your prime minister is not attending the meeting is noticeable to some people. But what has to be remembered is that since 2017, since India became part of the SCO,
yes,
Indian Prime Minister has not once participated in any of the conferences. So I, as a Pakistani, don't take this as a diplomatic or any other kind of snub by Indian Prime Minister. Even if there is no bilateral talk, even if they are not going to be talking on the side, our foreign minister and your Minister of External Affairs or our prime minister or your
there will be no,
still see it as a positive development.
Right, there is no bilateral, but probably not even a pull aside, Tara Kartha. You know, a lot has been talked about a pull aside. Will give Prime Minister Modi will in fact ensure that Dr. Jaishankar is more careful, given the fact that he had a pull aside with Canadian Prime Minister and it led to so much of uproar. So maybe there will not be any pull aside either. But the fact is, with India, Pakistan, you never know. And I think that is what it ends up being, isn't it?
I think, yeah, that's true, because, you know, at this kind of things, you never ever say it publicly. You know, you're not going to say that, you know, we're going to talk quietly or we're going to have a quiet chat. It's never done. It's all done on the spur of the moment. PM, by the way, Modi, our Prime Minister did chair the virtual meeting of the head council meeting, you know, which is the larger body. He did chair it. So there is an interest in the SCO itself, which is what Jaishankar said. I'm going for the SCO meeting, not for a bilateral. But nonetheless, like Meher said, it's a positive sign, notwithstanding the fact that India has given notice to Pakistan on the Indus Water Treaty. You're going to renegotiate it. That is the treaty which has stood the test of time from 1960 onwards, which means it is, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Ideally, if there are talks, I mean, I think what the Pakistani side wants is that there should be some resumption in J&K towards statehood, which is going to happen, right? We're going to get a state there. Elections have taken place. All that is there. So if one wanted to, the basis is there for a way forward in terms of talks. Is it going to happen now? It doesn't look like it.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to take one quick question, Meher, and I want to go back to the Canadian story, viewers, simply because the envoy has come. But very quickly, Meher Tarar, the fact is that Islamabad's preoccupation with its domestic problems and its insistence on 370 could really be the big roadblocks for any progress, now or later.
Honestly, Pakistan is so deeply embroiled in its own problems that Kashmir is not really the main topic in Pakistan's, political or social or any other narrative at the moment. Of course, it's always going to be an issue. It is the primary issue. It is the reason why Pakistan and India don't get along, to put it mildly. But as I said, the important thing is that the two sides are meeting, even if it's on a larger platform. It's not a bilateral meeting. It's not a platform where the two countries will be talking to one another exclusively. I still see it as a positive development, because whatever the issue is, if it's in this water issue, if it's something related to Siachen, if it's even if we go beyond Kashmir or go put Kashmir aside for a moment, there are several other issues which Pakistan and India need to talk about. And the important thing is to to see one another, to meet one another, even
Yes.
if it's the fact that it's not happening in China or Indonesia.
The fact that it's happening in Islamabad and Dr.
It's
Jaishankar
happening
is
in
going,
Islamabad,
that
and
itself
your-
is a messaging.
Yes, and your Minister of External Affairs
Yes.
is there. He's a career diplomat, and
he understands the art of subtle, non-verbal messaging. Thank you so much, ladies. I have to interrupt you there. Viewers, I want to go back to the Canada story. The Canadian envoy, in fact, charged the affairs, has been summoned in South Block and he has arrived. Let's play some of those visuals if we can to our viewers to tell how exactly the latest is happening there as far as Canada is concerned. All right, there you can see, we'll try and get you those latest visuals on your screens right now. That's the visual, charge the affairs of Canada, summoned by South Block. He has now arrived and those are live visuals that we are getting for you viewers. This, remember, is the single biggest story right now. Canada-India ties seeing through a major one cannot use the word downgrade because it's official, but the fact is that it's going through a very tough period. All right, moving on, President Draupadi Murmu is in fact now on a historic visit, three-nation visit to Africa. During her visit to Algeria, she's highlighted the deep-rooted and growing political ties between India and Algeria. President Murmu arrived in the country for the first leg of a week-long three-nation tour in Africa. She's on a visit to three countries, which is the first ever by an Indian head of state to these countries. In fact, as this is part of India's outreach to the region and speaking at the Indian community reception in Algiers, she emphasized that despite geographical distance, the two nations have maintained a close bond since Algeria's independence. The president held bilateral meetings with her Algerian counterpart amongst several other leaders and will also be addressing the Algeria-India Economic Forum. All right, with that, it's a wrap. Thanks so much for watching this edition of India Global.
I've been thinking, I want to plan my funeral so it feels more like a celebration. My parents always said I was born dancing. I just love it. Bhangra, disco, even line dancing. So when my time comes, I want to have music, dancing, the lot.
With over 150 years' experience, you can count on Co-op Funeral Care to help you pre-plan the funeral you want. To find out more, visit Co-op Funeral Care or give us a call.
Sign up and start saving with Quidco today. Get cashback every time you shop on over 5,000 brands. It always pays to Quidco.
Right now, terrible things are happening to donkeys. They work all day in the blistering sun, without food or water. They're suffering silently, while their backs are breaking. Some are being abandoned,